Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first heat of the Zelda II Randomizer event of the SHI Tournament Olympics. I am Angry Larry, joined by Nirm. Nirm, how are you?
I am decent.
I'm just going to set them both up. You can filibuster here. Why don't you tell us about today's match?
Today's match, we've got EnchantressOfNumbers for the Economawalk Octoroks. And JackimusWedge flying that special K flag with the game systems. I can't handle it. Can you handle it? I sure can.
One of the better features of the events are the fact that we got to make our own flags. That's pretty much, pretty much why we have this event to begin with.
Sometimes you just gotta represent. So for those unaware, the winner of this match will obviously proceed onward. The loser of this match goes home to their country in complete and total shame.
Yeah, absolute shame. And Jack has given us a nice rendition of, I believe this is Surf and Safari on the start menu. He's just mashing select as I switched over to his audio, so forgive me. I'm going to have to mute it for a second.
Is this the SBK national anthem?
That could be. We do have national anthems, or at least one of them. If that team ever wins, I may actually play it.
Would be a true tragedy.
Yeah, I mean we are ready, so I will give them the countdown. So we're doing Swiss flags for the tournament here. It's an 8-player single elimination tournament. Every team has 3 representatives per team, and each is responsible for 2 of the games events of the Olympics. This one and 8 it makes for 6 different 8-player single elimination tournaments. Why don't you give us the rundown of the flags we're using here?
So Zelda 2 flags, we've got extra keys in palaces. We've got fire combined with a spell. We've got the candle already. So these players will be bumping into this first cave here. We'll be able to see just fine, but unfortunately that's only some sort of pass-through cave. And shuffled palaces, not shuffled encounters, obviously randomized overworld, all kinds of stuff.
And we're finding Trophy Cave on EnchantressOfNumbers side there, and a boulder blocking the road. If you get the hammer, you can use the hammer on that, or you can take the hammer and waste 8 hours in Death Mountain trying to find Spectacle Rock. But we don't know about that yet.
Alrighty, we have a little digger on the side of EnchantressOfNumbers, as Jackimus has found Palace 1. Do note that he does not have a way to get through locked doors unless he picks up keys, but thankfully because the extra key flag is on, the likelihood of being able to complete Palace 1 is actually pretty high.
Yeah, there are, see if I can do this count in my head here, 4 keys, I believe, in Palace 1 and only 2 locked doors, and here Jack's going to get up to one of the locked doors right now, the item room. I was fooling around with audio issues. Not audio issues, but audio levels. He grabbed the key on his way, I assume, because he keeps walking, and he's going to find the raft.
Well, really, raft's a good find. Eon is right on his tail, but that also means that either the fairy or the magic key is somewhere here in the west as well. Because due to the way that this game does the logic, you would not be intended to go into this palace without having a way to get through locked doors.
Yeah, right. And it seems like with both players arriving on the raft here, it's really interesting. And Jackson Medicine Cave now will get another item. It's really interesting. They both dipped 1 first before trying to truly vet the whole continent and get to those item caves first.
We've got an unfortunate death for Jackimus there, dying to that Korea.
And Jack is.
And
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I would say Jack immediately left upon getting the raft. He did not proceed through the palace like Eon's doing here. So it'll be interesting to see if Eon is able to complete it. No.
Perhaps going a different way here. There's a magic container right there in whatever cave that was. It was Medicine Cave, like I said. So what I was going to say about Jack is a player who loves combat in this game. A lot of us do. And you'll see him trying to kill anything and everything on his way to the end of the game. He's also a guy who just doesn't really maintain levels. He just gets what he gets at level ups, and he's in Magic Container Cave now. Let's see what he gets here.
Only a heart container, so a couple of upgrades, but nothing too substantial yet here, as Eon electing to dive this pretty much wide open Death Mountain. A lot of caves to check for the immediate Hammer Cave, but no luck so far.
Yeah, sometimes it's fun and interesting to check all the open caves in the area, and there is a lot of caves here. We found 3 overworld item caves already. 1 up, heart container, magic container. It doesn't really it's not really helping the players too much right now, although that magic container could go a long way later, being able to cast spells or getting the item in New Kasuto. I'm not sure. I'm not really confident these are the last caves in Death Mountain for Eon, but certainly the end of this path. She'll backtrack and head to another path, while Jack finds Heart Container Cave. So this is the 4th of 5 caves we found so far with items in them.
That's correct. I think Jack also walked past a palace as well, so he's got a definite exploration advantage for right now.
Well, we are loading up on those magic containers, so 6 for Jack so far. He'll have a 66 repeating, 0.6 repeating, of course, chance of getting item New Kasuto, which is randomized to either 5 or 5 and between 5 and 6 magic containers. I'm pretty rusty, Niem. I don't know if you can tell.
Oh, he'll get back into form.
Yeah, definitely. Making notes here. I'm actually very interested in Eon's side of things here. Death Mountain is very fascinating for me. Jack now finds his trophy cave, and he'll be disappointed in a little while. So we only have the grass tile and the P-Bag Cave left to find here on the Western Continent. Along with
grass tile and the P-Bag Cave, and every town.
Yeah, every town.
Except for Rudo. I believe Rudo was right by the beginning. Well, there's P-Bag Cave for Jack, so he's already knocked out every potential item cave in the seed. As Eon decides to give up on Death Mountain for now, and so she's going to have to make up a little bit of ground, not committing to that Death Mountain play.
Yeah, probably a great idea to get out of Death Mountain, especially knowing you already have the raft. Magic Key there for Jack is pretty good. I was going to say, what are the potential items you'd want to find in Death Mountain with while holding the raft? And that would probably be either the Magic Key, or because we knew the Magic Key or Fairy was easily available, or the glove.
Yeah, Boots, Glove, Magic Key would have been the good things to find in Death Mountain, but we know it's the key now. So Jack gonna work on finishing Palace 1 here. Nothing to stop him now. And historically, Swiss seeds with early Magic Key end up having some sort of astronomical, epic way of screwing the players over. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
Well, you can just stop right at Swiss seed for that kind of analogy. It doesn't matter what you get early. Swiss has the potential of just as easy as it is. It just seems like it hides the required item pretty well. And we'll see. There's plenty of them. There's Thunder. There's Reflect. There's a possible magic item or a quest item you need to get Thunder or Reflect. And there's the glove right now. And who knows if you need the boots or the flute. And both players now have the magic key.
Be interesting to see how Eon plays this. If she immediately returns to Palace 1, or if she decides, you know, hey, I got the magic key. Maybe it's time to go east without finishing exploring the rest of the caves. As Jack finds a dead end here, so he's going to have to try a different direction. Interesting in the first place that he tried to go left first. It's looking like Eon's going to be doing the same thing here as well.
Yeah, Eon's going right to the room where she got out of the palace originally without having a key. No problem now with the magic key. And she'll continue on. So what are you looking to do here? Would you have placed this gem right away? Both players are on pretty low levels. The gem will possibly only give them attack 2. Would you have gone exploring a little bit more for the grass tile for the other towns and then revisited here and made better use of the gem?
Given that it was right here, I think I would have jumped back into Palace 1 again. I think also the way Jack ended up playing it is that it was like the last thing in that area he had to explore anyway. So outside of taking a pass-through cave, which was all the way back by start anyway, the sensible play was to return to 1. As far as Eon goes, there's still a lot of exploration left. So I don't know if I would have immediately gone back to Palace 1 when there's more on the table than there is for Jack. And he doesn't even take the experience, he just leaves.
Yeah, and that's Jack's playstyle right there. He got his attack 2, and he doesn't want magic 2 right now. He doesn't have any spells to basically pace himself and say he needs to take it or not. So he downed Sarah Jessica Parker. Now it's Eon's turn. He's going to go dipping through Death Mountain. Do you think he's reading the overworld as Death Mountain needing to be required here? Because he did see a pass-through cave early on, correct?
Yeah, we've seen 2 pass-through caves, so I'm actually surprised that Death Mountain was his idea here.
This might be his first foray into it, stepping into it, so he might just be going through the motions here.
That's true. Mazra down for EnchantressOfNumbers as well, so will be a nice, easy 90 experience gem. And
she will take Magic 2 there. Jack is going to bail out of Death Mountain. We'll see him most likely diving into one of those pass-through caves right down here, right by, would you say that was Rudo?
Mm-hmm.
So Rudo, obviously, you need the trophy to get the magic spell in there. We have 0 magic spells, and that's the only town we have seen so far. Jeff's actually up-Aing just to go back into Death Mountain and get closer to the southern part of it, since he explored the northern half of where he landed. And he's going to continue his cave search. Meanwhile, Eon's also not in Death Mountain, my bad. That was Heart Container Cave. Well, that was Magic Container Cave with the Heart Container. She has also not seen Heart Container Cave, but she got through Medicine Cave, I believe, right? Yeah, she did.
I do believe so.
One of the things I'm seeing both players not do, and it's going to probably benefit them in the long run, is neither of them are banging into any of the single terrain tiles for a quick pea bag or the chance of finding Bagu. We haven't seen either side of Saria right now, so Bagu is probably, you know, a long shot to be required of needing the letter. But, you know, they're fast-tracking their way through the game here.
And Eon actually entering one of those pass-through caves and electing to turn around. I guess wanting to make sure that she's explored the entirety of the northern half of this western continent, and finds Heart Container Cave here, so I do believe that will pull her even with Jack in terms of exploration.
Yeah, both will have the item in one Palace 1 completed, and hit every single of the item caves right now. Both players have not found the grass tile, 3 towns, and 2 palaces. You said Jack passed the palace before. Was that possibly North Castle or Palace 1?
It might have been.
Yeah.
I think that is in fact the case.
He's going to dive through a cave here. So I wonder if both of those pass-through caves they found are the same side of 2 different sides of Parappa or Jump.
I don't think so. I remember seeing 2 right sides, and which would mean one of those is Fairy Cave, the other one is Parappa.
That would be something, though, if we had a Death Mountain required the pass-through seed. Although anytime I've seen a Death Mountain required the pass-through seed, the other entrance has been just in the main opening, and it's been kind of boring.
Certainly a rare case, but not impossible.
Yeah, most likely rare until you get the boots. Like, you have to do it once, and then you find the boots, and then you can just avoid it the rest of the way. There's a lot of water here. But yeah, Jack's committed to this Death Mountain. He's going to go through one of these elevator shafts, get out to another one. It's fun to find the elevator instances, caves in Death Mountain, because you have 3 additional exits that can potentially bring you to 3 additional areas of Death Mountain. All you need to do is find the rock, for which we don't have the hammer for, or Hammer Cave, so you give yourself more of an opportunity to find that. If you do have the boots, you can walk on the water in Death Mountain on the eastern side of the area and get to additional caves that way, so it's very important to be aware of what caves you've seen as well, just so you know which ones you can go through if you need to.
Nice Death Mountain choke finger there.
Yeah, that was like half a choke finger. I noticed that immediately myself. That was a little middle finger camping spot.
It's looking like Eon is going to duck back into Death Mountain as well here, so both players kind of taking the same game plan here.
Yeah, if we can get some choke fingers in chat, that'd be cool. Look at this magic cave scenario for Jack. Nope, he's right back into another elevator cave. Oh, on Eon's side, we did see Spectacle Rock and a way to get to the water. Let's see if she goes around and finds Hammer Cave. So as long as Jack's been in here tooling around and he's out through the other side, finds both palaces and the bad end of Saria, Eon has the knowledge of how to get to Hammer Cave, which he's in right now, and where Spectacle Rock is.
Now, this will be a pretty make or break moment here, depending on what this item is. Jack's got a pretty decent time advantage on knowing how to get to the other side of the continent here, whereas if this item in Death Mountain is important, then it's going to give Eon a huge advantage.
So both sides of Saria right there, and we also had Palace 3 or 6. We talked about how good Jack was at combat earlier. Eon is no slouch either. Eon has competed in, or completed, Attack 1 Challenge Seeds. I've seen that. And she's very good overall at this game at killing things. So, not to take away from what she was doing when I was talking about Jack, but both players are very good at combat. And there's a spell you want to see.
Yeah, Fairy Spell is definitely a good one. Oh, Joshy D will be happy.
Did Eon game over as I was marking?
No. that was an up and A. She picked up the cross at Hammer Cave.
Ah, okay.
Jackimus here in the town of Rauru. Free spell here.
Yeah, so went through Death Mountain to get to this side for Jack. And everything was right there. I know, did he get into that second palace yet?
Not that I know of. Joshua D, once again a staunch defender of the cross.
And now Eon's back in Death Mountain, so it's a unique situation here where the overworld pass-through caves, they must be the same cave.
I really don't think so. At least that one is not explored. Jack sitting in a 3-2-3 here, and Eon just walks right on through.
Yeah, that was a very quick way to the other side here, so minimize the amount of time she could have spent getting here. Sees Palace 3 of 6, and they're actually going to entertain us and go to the other palace here right after this encounter. So we now know what the three palaces on this side will be. And Jack's going to find the last of the stuff we're looking for. Well, we haven't found Mito as well. It's 3 and 6, along with Palace 1. And the grass tile is the flute.
So between the two runners, we've seen everything currently available on the west, unless one of them wants to dive 3 or 6 and hope that they can get to the item room, which it looks like Jack thought about. Jack is going to do this, and Eon is still continuing to explore here.
We find where, I don't know if we found where Mito was.
Not quite yet, no.
Yeah, because Jack has the fairy spell. So he could have picked up Downstab if he did find in his travels. If he can cast that magic too, but with, 6 magic containers, hard to believe he wouldn't.
We have not seen the Spectacle Rock item, but we also do not have the hammer, so it's not currently available.
Yeah, it's a continental western continent we were talking about.
And this is Palace 6 here for Jack. This is a room that's only in Palace 6, and that's going to be Mito for Eon.
Yeah, 6 is a little bit dangerous to do without the glove. There's a couple rooms that can block you. He does have fairy that is castable, so he can get around the room he needs to the room that would block you if you didn't have fairy, the big lava room. That one right there. And he tries to pogo his way across, but he forgets he doesn't have downstab, and he's going to take the death. So Eon elects not to dip through 6 or 3. He's going to continue on searching for the 2 towns she has not got the spells for yet.
It really fascinates me that Jack would elect to dive a palace that's pretty much notoriously difficult, as opposed to exploring all of the eastern continent.
Yeah, I was going to use a fascinating word myself. It always fascinates me when I see 2 runners playing the same seed that just go in different directions and find and do different things. Like they both did early on, they're both doing now. Jack went right, found all the towns. Eon went left, found Mito. Decided not to go into 6. Jack went into 6. The one advantage of jumping into 6 right now without the glove is that maybe you can find a quick item room with the glove, or a quick boss, and just never have to come back again.
It's certainly a gamble, though. It's a pretty significant time investment for just that small chance. Did Jack loop around? I'm pretty sure he did.
Yeah, he was in this room before because he lured this red iron knuckle away from the thing that shoots. And there's the fairy spell pickup for Eon.
So Eon will be picking up Shield here in Rauru. It'll be interesting to see if she immediately goes back to Mito for that downstab now that she has Fairy. And then I fully expect Eon to go east after either after this town immediately or after getting downstab. We have actually not seen it yet. There's a small potential that it's boot blocked, but as far as I know, it is. Oh, it's right there. Aha.
You gotta, you're a commentator. You gotta build the drama. Look at this nice.
Perfect. Yes, yeah. That is exactly what happened.
A nice one cave area right to Bonner Pass. So we'll be going through this. Our first look at the Eastern Continent. What do we expect to find over here in the East?
Death.
Lots of death, especially when Eon didn't go back for downstab. There's Jack, blocked by the Canadian whole room, and he's seen enough. He's getting out of there. Has some information for later, though.
Interesting that you would elect to dip 6, but not 3. I don't understand that one, but alright.
Yeah, 3 is relatively very short, but you can get... Because it's so short, if you are glove blocked... You'll be glove blocked almost instantly unless you get a rare scenario where all the rooms line up right to left and you got to go through 5 of them first before you get to the back-to-back glove block rooms. But yeah, Jack's pretty much just looking for Mito and the raft tile now, I believe.
Yeah, Eastern Continent looking real interesting. Right at only one cave on entrance, and then it takes you all the way to the southeast side of the continent. And this encounter's giving Eon a rough time, and that's actually a game over.
Yeah, wamboozled there, unfortunately. We're going to have to go back, and remember, it's a walk back there right now. Looks like you have to go through Death Mountain to get to that area where the raft tile was.
And Jack just not walking far enough south to see Mito. I think he might have even been one tile away from seeing it.
So along the same lines of not popping into the, the terrain tiles, the trap tiles that contain the small items, what you're also not going to see either of these runners do is utilize the drippers, or well, maybe they'll kill a dripper enemy if it drops in front of them. But the iron knuckles outside of 3 or 6, neither of them, I believe, checked to see how much the iron knuckle was worth, and potentially get a steal a few life levels on the way. They'll do all their leveling at gems and inside of palaces on the way to gems. There's Jack with downstab now. Man, the boots would be very nice, wouldn't they?
They sure would. But unfortunately, we have not seen them yet. This could very well be a case of the first person to find the boots will have a quite the exploration advantage.
Eon's using Fairy in this. Only 2 large enemies in that room, but the blue Lizalfos was just bodying her before because he was on that ledge, and he can be very difficult to jump up there and jump over, or even, attack from up there. But she didn't elect to go get downstab. on her way back. She had to go through the western continent again to get to the raft tile. She's gonna opt not to do it.
At this point, I think that might be a mistake, just because it's such a significant time investment if you game over, and downstab is such a significant tool to get through some of these nasty encounters that, you know, it's definitely nice to have.
Yeah, just to pogo over enemies like this is just a great thing to have and do. I'm gonna see the right side of, I believe that might have been Nubaru or Valley of Death, but we're gonna find Nubaru now. So she'll grab a spell here. She wants to see Thunder or Reflect. Is there a consolation prize here for her?
Spell, I would say, would be the consolation prize at this point, just because it unlocks another item.
Yeah, Fire is linked to another spell as well, so Fire is linked to either Thunder or Reflect, or even Spell. We'll see, and look at that.
There's your Fire spell.
Yeah, look at that. I'm great. I didn't get a chance to see how much it was. We'll see if she casts.
It was 52.
52 castable, and there's a healer on the way, so see if she does a little science. No science was done today. Jack's going to take care of this blue Zalphos, and only 100.
Eon has made her way back to the western side, and the kid on the desert tile here, that'll be another spell. And we've got the entrance to the Valley of Death right there. And another pass-through cave, as Jack also finding the Buru here.
Yeah, after finding that desert tile, she's not going to bounce into any of those other desert tiles. And just streamline her way right to Darunia. And she does have the kid. Kid's easily placed right next to Darunia, so this won't be an advantage for one runner over the other.
You say that, but you never really know.
Well, sure, you can not scroll the screen and not see the desert tile, or get to Darunia first and then just work your way elsewhere.
Meanwhile, Eon discovering that fire is indeed tied to jump. So, no exciting fire spells here. Both runners still going to have to dig up Thunder and Reflect.
And we'll see what the kid gives you in just a few seconds here. Jack's going to attempt to go into that desert tile and grab a 500-point P-bag. And then now he's going to get the kid. So it's my favorite thing. In the overworld is my favorite thing, is where you just go into all those terrain tiles and grab all those 500-point P-bags. You get some slow start or Western Continent that does not give you enough XP. You can just, you know, get a couple levels there.
Yeah, being able to stumble on 500-point P-bags is pretty nice.
And the kid is linked to finding Thunder, so one of our required spells is a quest item, but that's easily gettable, and both players have it, and both players will have Thunder within 2 minutes here.
Yep, that's one key down. So we're still really looking for the glove and reflect. Those are the two major ones, and obviously with the overworld that we have, the boots are going to play a significant factor as well, but we do not know if they're required yet.
No, and we don't even know in the Western Continent if you can if you can bypass Death Mountain with the boots either. We know the raft tile is on the other side of Death Mountain. I don't know if you can get there with the boots. So Eon now is in the other cave. I think, what cave is this? Is this the Nabaru cave? Oh no, this is the Valley of Death cave, I believe.
I couldn't tell you what the Eastern Caves were in vanilla.
Yeah,
I definitely have no idea.
I know every Death Mountain cave, but I can't, memorize the 4 caves on the Eastern continent. I believe this is a Valley of Death cave because I think the Nabaru cave is only one screen. So we're in the extreme northwest here. See how?
And look at that river, dude.
Yeah, let's see how long this goes before he reaches a dead end, and we can blame Dig Shake.
Jack finding an item cave here in the east, just kind of right in the middle. I guess it's just one Eon just kind of walk past.
Yeah, and Eon does.
Wow.
Yeah, Peninsula of Death right there. Just a peninsula of wasting your time. Walks all the way down and around, and nothing to be found.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing where you can't even up an A to go back, even though that's a game over right there. Just because it's such a significant amount of time to get back over there. It's going to be a game over regardless.
There's another magic container right there in the payback cave. So Jack can get the item Nukasuda now.
Yep, with 7 bars, he is guaranteed. And there's a town that Eon did not see as well. So, ducking into a cave to further explore the east is definitely proving disadvantageous for Eon here.
Yeah, continents are split up into different segments by design. So most of the time you do have to dip to find something, and Jack's in Kasuto now.
And it looks like Eon is going to go get downstab on this trip to the west here.
Yeah, and it's also looking like if Reflect is not in New Kasuto, we're going to be looking for the trophy or medicine.
That would be a pretty classic Swiss move there. I do believe Jack has exhausted what's available in this little patch of the Eastern Overworld as well, so he's going to have to pick a magic cave here and see what he finds.
Yeah, he's going to probably have to take that one with the scorpion right away. This one right here. As being we've seen the other end of both the other ones I saw. So this is the Nabaru cave, because it had the flying enemies, and we're over here in a nice little swamp road. As Eon gets downstab.
We've got Maze Island here for Jack. Maze Island holds a palace and 2 item locations, so definitely a good place to dig if you don't have any kind of... if you're missing a couple items, if you might need a spell item, Maze Island's definitely the place to be.
You know, one disadvantage of Jack not taking the magic levels early, although he may have arrived at the same thing. We have Palace 5 here on Maze Island. He can only cast Fairy once right now, which save a little bit of time doing the Fairy Feet trick on the overworld for sure. Palace 5, you more than likely need Fairy to get through the Eco Key Room, as they call it. The left to right, going left to right. Where it's too high to jump. And then potentially in Palace 6 and Great Palace, so... Alright, Eon gets her downstab, and she makes her way back over to the Eastern Continent and has to go through this one cave system first. Jack finds one of the many dead ends in level 5. What's your Palace 5 strategy there, champ?
Depends on what I'm looking for. Yeah, obviously, you need an item go left, you don't need an item go right. That's all I really do.
You don't have any advanced strats like see an elevator always go up?
No, really, not really. No. Every once in a while, if I see a room, like say this room that Jack's in right now, if I'm walking right, like if I'm coming off of an elevator that has multiple options, and I walk right, I will take the first elevator before moving on to this other elevator because it's closer.
I believe it's like something 5 of the 8 elevators in Palace 5. The top floor goes right, so if you're looking to find the boss, going up in an elevator is surely better than going down, where only 2 of the 6 rooms, maybe, go left.
Speaking of the boss.
Yeah, attack 4, life 4. You have shield and life available to you. Let's see how he handles this.
Jack is fighting Guma here. Eon has gone through the same cave that Jack went through. Jack on his final life, though, so he's going to have to be a little bit careful in this Guma fight.
Yeah, he can only cast life once at 60. Magic levels do not favor the runners here.
It's interesting to me that Jack is electing to do the cheese strats here on Guma. I personally feel like it's so much slower to do it that way that you're almost better off fighting him normal, and if you die, just work your way back, because it wasn't too far into 5. As Eon has found Palace 4 here in the east.
That's going to put between 2 and Great Palace. One of them is going to be on the Valley of Death, and the other one's going to be on the continental eastern continent. And slow but steady there for Jack. He'll be placing this gem, going up 2 gems to 1 here. I believe this is the last of our towns. Is this New Kasuto for Eon?
It has to be. This will be the defining moment for us as commentators. We know that if this isn't Reflect, then got a lot more exploring to do.
She wants 7 magic containers. The greedy old woman. She better give you something good for those 7. No spell here, though. So even if this is not Reflect, I mean, the spell could lead to the glove in the same town. We'll see what it is. It's Reflect.
Alright, so glove is definitely the limiting factor.
Yeah.
And it'll be interesting to see if Eon not doing her due diligence in the first section of the east comes back to bite her. If that glove is blocked by the old lady, then that's going to be some really bad news for her.
And we do have other scenarios that require you to need the well, there's the glove right there on Maze Island, so we can rule that out. So
yeah,
glove.
I think we've seen everything. No, we are missing one palace in the east. We're missing.
Yeah, it's going to be either 2 or Great Palace, but let's not overlook the fact that you may need to find the trophy or the medicine to get the spell to get the boots to find that 1 palace. But probably unlikely.
It's a possibility, though.
Yeah, and then there is a chance. There's our water tile right there. Eon's going to duck into the lava encounter. Grab that pea bag. Contemplating, but then decided to take life 4. And there's our last item on Maze Island. For Jack, we'll see what it is in a second.
Kid tested, dig shake approved. Eon entering Maze Island as well, and as long as she doesn't duck into Palace 5, she'll pick up the glove in relative short order here. And shouldn't be too far behind in terms of item. So as our current scenario here, Jack does not have the Reflect spell. He has not found New Kasuto. Eon does not have the Glove or Thunder, as she has not found Old Kasuto.
Oh, she does have Thunder.
You sure?
Yeah, because that was in Darunia. Kasuto was Life.
Oh, well then. She does not have the Glove then. What am I thinking of? I don't know what I'm thinking.
We can make up stuff if you want. I'm down with that.
I mean, that's what I always do.
I mean, I've been faking knowledge on this game for close to 2 years now.
So I would argue that Eon is closer to go mode than Jack is currently, but Jack has a gem advantage, having cleared Palace 5, which is a doozy. So hard to say who's quote-unquote in the lead at this point. It really depends on what Jackimus decides to do here. If Jackimus waltzes right into New Kasuto, then I would say Jack is probably in the lead. But if he ends up going north and like there's all kinds of like stuff up there, like flutes up through this passage and all kinds of who knows what he decides to do, or if he decides to duck into Palace 4 before doing anything else. There's a lot of things that can happen. Jack's pretty unpredictable.
Yeah, that's definitely his play style, but it's very hard to tell who's ahead in Zelda II Randomizer, especially 44 minutes in, because, you know, like you said, Eon has the Reflect, Jack has the Glove, and 2 gems placed, but Jack also has a life level and an attack level over Eon, meaning he's going to be able to kill things faster, take less hits in the process. Those hits are going to reduce his health even less than, so, you know, it's very even if Eon finds a couple things here, the levels are still there for Jack. He can arrive at them faster. You know, it's tough. We'll see. I'll give you an hour, and then I'll make up my mind.
So Jack does find New Kasuto, so I would say at this point Jack has a little bit of an advantage here.
Yeah, he dives in there just in case it was a spell item before going to New Kasuto, like in the Western Continent spell item, I would believe. So he would fish out what was in New Kasuto and then up A and go turn that in. But it was not the last P-Bag Cave. And we're going to see what's in the old lady's house. Remember, she wanted 7 heart containers for this. Or 7 magic containers. Boy. And there it is. There are the boots.
That might be the nail in the coffin for Eon there.
Eon does pick up the 1-up, though, losing the life in the process. So it's a push, that cave.
So really, nothing can stop Jack now once he gets this spell. He's got nothing to really block him off from anything. He can just go to all the palaces he wants and start clearing them out. And with already having a gem advantage, he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, the only physical thing that can stop him is a lack of finding, whether that's Palace 2 or Great Palace. Just not finding it on the overworld. I've been there before, like it's plain as day somewhere, but you know, you just walk in every wrong direction and don't scroll the screen enough, and you know, it's 2 more tiles deeper in that swamp you didn't walk through. So it's Palace 4 time for Jack now. He's got Reflect. Remind everyone that Jackimus is representing the team of Special K. That's Coach Crab, Random Effect, and JackimusWedge. EnchantressOfNumbers is the Econo Moak Octorox, which is Bent Glass Tube and CF 207.
I'll tell you what, Eon walked straight to Guma. First attempt, first right, boom, there. It wasn't quite first, but it was definitely quicker than Jack found him.
Ian's going to cast Fire here with the added advantage of jump. Fire is going to push Guma back a little further. Get him a little bit further away from dangerous territory, swinging that Morning Star. But also jump is going to push you back even further if you do these strats. There's a P-bag right there in Palace 4. So this is very safe here. Very easy way to kill Guma. I think they call this one the St. Louis Arch.
Is that named after somebody?
No, I don't think so. Unfortunate. It's kind of close to the area, so maybe I want to rename it. I didn't want to give him any props.
I see. Palace 4, nice and short. Item room and boss right next to each other. And I'm not sure if Eon is diving 5 for the item. No. Okay, she was just getting a little bit of experience. Thank goodness. Synchronized gem placement here. Eon placing the gem in 5. Jack placing the gem in 4. And he's just gonna eat the experience, whereas Eon will take this level here. Jack's gonna go back to start and start clearing out the western palaces. We're still missing a palace in the east that we still haven't seen the location of.
Yeah, he's gonna but knowing that Great Palace resides in the eastern continent, he's gonna go clean up the east first, and the west first, sorry, and then go back to the east after. He's got the boots, remember, so he can just take the raft tile in the east and just walk straight up or down, probably down, because we've seen the northwest corner of the continent. It may be boots required, the seed. You may have to walk to a little bit of an inlet to get to Palace 2 or Great Palace.
Alright, Jack gonna test my theory here that Death Mountain isn't actually required. As this is Fairy Cave here.
Yeah, it definitely is Fairy Cave. And we saw when we came out the other side of Death Mountain, I believe there was a grave tile right there.
Yep, that's definitely the south.
Yeah, sorry I doubted you. Is this the other P-Bag Cave, or is this the Magic Container P-Bag Cave that...
This is the different one. We have not seen this one yet.
Okay.
Trying to think what's left. Heart Container or Jar, probably.
No, the hammer.
Or the hammer.
So that might be... What do you call that? The white whale, the red herring? It has some word like that. Disastrous for Eon because she does not have the glove.
She got the glove.
Oh, did she get the glove? Let's pretend she didn't get the glove so I can finish my thought.
Okay. Eon doesn't have the glove.
No. She doesn't have the boots, and if she thinks that Palace 2 or Great Palace is boot blocked, she does know where Spectacle Rock is. And now that she has the hammer, that's just an additional thing in her path to choose whether she wants to get to it or not.
I'm starting to think this final palace is boot blocked because we haven't. Never mind, there it is.
And the best thing in the world you can do. Well, actually, you know what? I think we might have seen that prior because Eon did that walk in that north walk up there to the nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she might have seen that on the screen very early. I caught the walk mid stride. So. Was it, in fact, a Great Palace?
That was Great Palace, so 2 is going to be in Valley of Death. And we have to confirm that boots are not actually required. They're just very, very helpful.
Yeah, the way that continent was up there, oh, there's a hammer, so the hammer's even, well, nope, you need the boots if you have the hammer to get through the continent, so there goes that. We're just going to keep saying things wrong in this 20-minute block and have the runners disprove us. But what I was going to say is the Palace 2, the Great Palace area up there in the northwest portion of the Eastern Continent, didn't look like it had a little bit of an inlet. So I don't know if you can take the boots and walk up there. You probably have to go through that cave. Which is one of the first caves anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So Jack went through the Canadian hole where he was glove blocked before, and then has looped around. Now he's going to go through this area where you normally cast Fairy to get through, but he's going through the opposite side. And he's going to take a drop.
Yeah, Jack had found the item room, but obviously he doesn't need items at this point, so he's just gonna keep on looking.
Yeah, I don't think he walked into this room. It was the other bottom floor of a drop sequence that he found. There's Eon back in Death Mountain, going to Spectacle Rock and getting the heart container.
One step closer to full Joshy B.
I tell you, every time the rope is in that room where Jack is now, I never make that jump. The rope always hits me as I'm making the jump, and I get knocked into the lava.
I always have to... I always have to stop and kill everything in that room, otherwise I'll face plant into the lava every time.
You can see Jack being a little bit cautious now. It's one thing to die once. It's fine, you know, keep on going. But if you take a second death in this room, especially if you have to explore many rooms and potentially even, you know, you have the magic key in this situation, but let's say you need to use Fairy and rely on Fairy, it's pretty devastating to lose those lives.
Yep, Jack's actually on his final life here, so he's got to be a little bit careful. Meanwhile, Eon has entered Palace 3. We'll be exploring 6's counterpart here. It's a little bit shorter, more glove blocks, but if you get the glove early, it's probably the best palace to explore because there's typically a lot of free keys available in Palace 3.
Yeah, especially in the Swiss flags. And Swiss flags are basically, I wouldn't say easier settings, but just a grouping of basic, most common settings. You start with the candle. Enemies are not mixed between the small and large groups. P-bags are turned into keys in palaces. Stuff like that. And attack levels, life levels, magic levels are all normalized. They're not reduced at all. But here's the boss fight here, Barba.
Meanwhile, Eon has found Palace 3's item room.
That is the 8th or 4th and final magic container as Jack finishes up Palace 3 or 6, I mean.
Yep, 6 down for Jack. He'll be jumping into 3 along with Eon here. Eon electing to up an A to begin exploring this palace again.
So after this, it's a race for Jack to find Palace 2. But if he does jump through that one cave that Eon took to the peninsula dead end, he does have the boots, so it's just a, walk south from where that cave lets out, and he'll be right in... Oh, sorry, that's Great Palace. But he's got to go into Valley of Death to get the 2. But then if he doesn't know where Great Palace is, it's just one cave away.
Yeah, Eon's still digging for items here. I wonder if she has surmised that the boots might be required somehow.
Yeah, do you think digging for items, or you think just happened to find the boss
That's
first?
also a possibility, too.
Well, I mean, she did dip into Death Mountain for Spectacle Rock for the easy item there.
She might just be going for upgrades. Obviously, every extra jar, every extra heart is very helpful. Palace 3 completed for Eon. So Eon has, I believe, Palaces 4, 6, and 2 left, whereas Jack has Palaces 3 and 2, and that's it.
Yeah, and Eon's the one who knows where 2 is. Jack doesn't know if it's on Valley of Death or the other palace he hasn't seen yet. That's really one of the only minor things that can trip Jack up here, other than a pretty poorly laid out Great Palace going to have a 2-gem lead in a matter of a couple minutes.
Yeah, the GP location's kind of tucked up there, so it's definitely one of the things you can miss if you're waltzing around the entire overworld. You might think, oh, did I just miss it? Did I walk past something? And you start doing laps around that middle circle there when you know it's kind of up there in the top left corner.
If you try to use the boots and go the wrong way as well, I might think that you can get to that area, because I think where Eon did the up A in that area when she didn't have the boots, I think you can get there from the south, walking straight up and hitting that river on the eastern side along the eastern edge of the continent. So if Jack can get over there with the boots, he'll be fine. But if he starts walking in other directions using the boots or taking the wrong caves, then he'll have a bad time. He eats another gem. Is that gem number 3 he ate?
That is gem number 3. I was going to say, I've never seen anybody eat as many gems as Jack has here.
Yeah, Jack does it. Dig, Shake, and Unos do it as well. I believe I've seen somebody eat up to like 5 gems at one time, but may have benefited from a dripper or nice and rich XP elsewhere. And there's Jack walking north, and he gets to this area. This is the area with New Kasuto, and I don't believe he can get any more north than this, and he's got to get on the other side of those mountains. But like I'm saying, if he goes east here and walks north, he should be able to get there.
This little passageway also takes him right there, too.
Oh yeah, the short desert of love. So Eon's going to make her way through 6. Jack's going to make a left here. Yeah, he's going to make a left, follow the river. There's that cave that takes you there, and there is Great Palace. So he'll now have the knowledge of where Palace 2 is, and he'll have to make his way back to the section that gets him into Valley of Death. Which was what? You had to take 2 caves, right? The first initial cave through the over the raft tile, and then the second cave to get there, correct?
Yeah, but the boots will also take you right there, right off the raft tile if you just walk down. It'll just spit you out right in front of Valley of Death.
Boots are OP.
Yep.
Remember, Palace 4 is fairly quick as well.
That's true.
So if Eon can get to Barba here faster than Jack did. And remember, Jack had the early exploration, and Jack found a glove block, which then looped him around when he revisited the palace with the glove. Eon is here fresh, so she doesn't have that information and is not using that to... Well, she's in that room right now, so as I say that, so... She might loop around. Doesn't have the life spell because she didn't find Kasuto.
Jack getting owned by this random encounter, and it's 2 deaths. He got some Moas in there that are knocking him around. So he's going to have to get through the rest of Valley of Death. He might take a nasty game over here.
Yeah, it looks like that it's still 60 or so for Fairy at Magic Level 4. So he can only cast it once. And this is where it hurts. And I brought up a few scenarios before, and the overworld getting through it. 65 at Magic Level 4, huh?
Fortunately for Jack, only 2 encounters of the potential 3, so he'll make it to Palace 2. Drippers.
We need to know. He's not letting us know. For those who do not know, Drippers are randomized what enemy you can get out of them, and they retain the health of the bots that normally drop from them. So at attack level 6, he'll be one-shotting whatever drops, and it can roll up to 500 XP enemies that come out of the Drippers, like the Magos, or, you know, even like 300 experience points. I don't know if I've ever seen a Doom Rattler come out of there. No, because it's a Palace 2 set enemy. So I think the best you can get is Magos for 500, and then, what, Red Iron Knuckles for 200?
Blues for 3, I think.
Oh, yeah, Blues for 3, yeah. So I believe Eon is on the right path right now. Jack is not. He finds a dead end and takes an up A.
Red Iron Knuckles. We saw one. We did it.
Yeah. He didn't see how much it was worth, though, but we've seen him kill it before. Life 5 with 5 bars of health does not look too good here. And with Jack's style of play, like the aggressive, reckless, anything goes, you know, he'll be tough in Great Palace if he takes a couple hits. But with that said, this is probably going to be Magic 5 and not Life 6, right?
Or he'll just eat it again.
Oh, he's on the continent with Great Palace. So, well, yeah, that's right. Eating it brings him right back out. So, yeah, there's that. And Barba here for Eon.
So Jack's got all his gems. Eon still has 3 left to place. Obviously, he's at the boss of Palace 6, and then still has to complete 4, which we know 4 is a very, very quick palace. And then Palace 2, which Jack just did in the Valley of Death.
The best explanation I can give JSR2 for Jack eating the gem is, and that's the 4th gem he ate so far, is just that he doesn't want to sit there and wait for the XP to count up and the fanfare and the taking the level. He knows he can cast everything he needs, and he wants to shave that time and get right to it. Other than that, there's no saving for Magic 5 inside of Great Palace or anything. It's just save that time. We can ask him when the race is over, but I believe that's going to be the answer.
All right, Jack gonna waltz on up to GP here. Eon electing to take life 6, hopefully much more effective than life 5. As we've seen, life 5 is pretty nasty. Though in Swiss, I believe life levels are normalized, so just gotta get good.
Yeah, life and attack levels are normal, and magic is random, and it looks like the magic is a little bit on the high side here for all these spells, especially at Magic 4, but post Magic 4 is where it gets, you know, a better chance for things to drop significantly. Remember, it's plus or minus 50% the cost of the vanilla spell at the same level, but never higher than the prior level, so the higher levels you get, the lower they drop in vanilla, the better chance that you'll even get it lower in the randomizer.
So what are you thinking for this Great Palace here? 3 rooms?
Listen, I don't think this seed provided a troll whatsoever for Swiss, and it's hard for me to think that people can go just straight forward through it. But that being said, yeah, 3 rooms, maybe even 2. No, I am absolutely shocked that we didn't see Thunderbird there, honestly. But we had the elevator room, so there's a path left behind. We're going to go down here into one of the corridor rooms, into the fairy room. There could be back-to-back fairies there, and then we're going to go right into a theater room here. Jack?
Yep, so Jack has passed up 2 lefts here.
Yeah, 2 lefts. That means if he does find Thunderbird now, there's a chance that Darklink is beyond that room. Get a nice little fun room here, and Jack sees how much fun it is. He's going to have to waste most of his magic casting fairy there to save himself. Eon has now made her way to this room, this palace actually, Palace 2. Jack was in the Dark Magician room and did take a death in that room. Unfortunate, because there is a potential for a red jar drop on the other side in the other honeycomb, where he could have filled up on his life and retained some magic for Thunder. And there is the jar. Oh, there's a Moa in the room as well. And the dead end, so we're going to up A, and we're going to have to take one of these lefts here. Left through fairy room near him? Probably, right?
Nope.
No, always.
Nope. Give me the first one. Never trust Angry Larry. It's a life lesson to everybody listening.
Oh, we're going to have back-to-back elevator rooms here. This is the one with either 1 or 2 enemies on the left side. We're not going to see it. We're going to go straight up. Right into the upstab room. Uh-oh. Did Jack get upstab?
I actually don't know.
I know Eon got it because we saw the fairy feet, and that's when she experimented with the fire spell.
I would assume so. He was there. But maybe not. That could be the difference maker.
I don't think he has it. He was through Darunia pretty quick. But we're going to go up. Corridor room. Into the false floor room. Make a right here. So what do we have going on here? We have the left in the upstairs room, and we have the left in fairy room, along with this right. So there's 2 more paths left untaken. And a dead end. We're going to have to take one of those lefts, left in fairy room, or are we going to have to see if he has upstab?
I think he has it, because if he didn't have it, he would have up and aid there.
No, there were other paths to take. I mean, to backtrack. Well, yeah, I guess you're right. He would have to go all the way back for the fairy room. Yep, and if he goes up here, we're going right to the upstairs room. We're going to the upstairs room.
Well, all right,
And we're leaving.
I guess he doesn't have it.
So we talked about ways that Eon could close the gap here, and wow, is that one of them?
Yeah, that's one we didn't even touch on because it's so rare for that to happen. Well, it's not in stone yet. It's definitely a possibility. That's Jack's second death already. I guess he did up an A.
Yeah, he did up an A. Got that left. But now Eon's back at Eon's at Helmet Head, makes quick work of Helmet Head, and we know Palace 4 is pretty short if you go immediately in the right direction.
So if you're Eon, do you think you're ahead? Do you think you're behind? How do you think you're doing?
Approaching on an hour and 15 minutes, and still needing to place one gem, and having the little bit of difficulty finding the glove. Probably you think you're behind. Very rare is a runner going to think they're ahead. Especially at like an hour and 15 minutes, where most of these Swiss seeds kind of start concluding. There was no big obstacle in her path, and look at that, upstab required. We're going backwards. Now Jack is panicking. Both players are panicking. Eon because there was no big troll that she's seen so far, and Jack because he just walked right by upstab, decided not to get it. And now he needs it. It's a callback to that 2017 race between Riku player and the Countess, where the Countess had to leave and go try to find upstab, and wound up losing.
I don't think Jack remembers where Darunia is. He's headed for New Kasuto here.
Yeah, that's the downside of finding a town early and thinking you never need to go back to it. You don't really try to retain it in your memory, and where is this? And panic sets in. It's horrible. That's right. Countess left for jump. He had upstab, but he didn't have jump to get through it. He could have gotten through it with fairy. That's right. That's what it was. But it was an upstab required room. I didn't think you were in chat. That's why I was talking about it.
Damn, throwing shade.
Yeah, we got to fill time. It's a filibuster as we wait for Jack to go get upstab and Eon to go to find Karak.
Jack is on the right path here. If I remember correctly, Darunia is just north of where he is right now.
So Jack gets upstab, Eon completes Palace 4. Jack still has a significant advantage because he's funneled one way in Great Palace, while Eon has to do all those right turns first before she finds the dead end and possibly the one-up dead end through the fairy room. And then
Oh no, she went left. I believe that was the way to go to Karak was down, and she elected to go left. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong. Either way, yeah, I guess it comes back down to if you feel like you're behind, do you take that left at the beginning? Or do you play it straight?
Yeah, she's at Karak now. 4 is probably a tricky place to take a chance, but like you said, if you feel like you're behind and you're going to just, give yourself the best chance to make up time, if you just keep holding right, you're pretty much going to do what your opponent's doing.
I'll tell you what, she's going to beat him back, that's for sure. This is going to be a good one.
And with life level 6 and 6 heart containers, a lot more survivability here. Magic level 6 too, so possibly could cast Fairy a few times and, just avoid rooms altogether by flying over it.
Oh no, she's actually going away from GP. We know it's just up through that desert path.
Well, she doesn't... up through the desert path, yeah, but she knows she can get through this... she knows the path to... Oh, that's right. Does she know? Yeah, she does know how to get there.
She's gonna go down to the south and walk all the way down, up and around. That's gonna take probably another 3 or 4 minutes longer than just walking through up to that desert path. Is she taking that cave that's up there? There's no way to get across without the boots, if I recall.
I don't think that's the cave, yeah.
Okay, no, it's not that cave.
No, that's the cave they had to get through. They had to pass through to get to this area.
Alright, well, Jack is in fact going to be the first one back to GP, and he knows he has to go through the upstab room, so... A little scary, but he should be in pretty good shape here. But it could come down to one of those 50-50 drop rooms, too. Gotta love those.
Yeah, all 4 of them are in play right now. And in fact, you go through this upstab room, you might have to make the first of the drop. It might be the other side of the L7 room. Jack's going to try to save whatever little magic he has. Oh, no! Ah, that's unfortunate. Building momentum to make that jump as opposed to casting jump.
And he'll take a death for his troubles there.
That's 3 bars of damage at life level 5, and that's normal. That's crazy.
Eon choosing to go right, which we know leads to a dead end, and here's the first drop room for Jack. But he's going to take another death. Already down to 1 life. That's going to be rough pumpkins for the rest of this.
We're on the top floor of the L7 room. Yeah, and just like predicted, Eon's going to take the rights here. And get met with this dead end. It's only 2 rooms away. So then it depends on whether she wants to up A and go left at the first elevator, or if she's going to, in fact, walk back to the fairy room, which is 3 more rooms away in the opposite direction. Jack's getting bodied right now.
Well, this is why you don't eat all those gems. Plain and simple. Still, though, Jack has an advantage when it comes to palace knowledge, as he's eliminated 2 or 3, actually even 4 paths at this point. Oh no, he died on one of the paths, so certainly has the palace exploration advantage. But still, a couple of things can happen to make this an interesting race.
Yeah, I have one path open for Jack. Prior to the drop, a left through the elevator room. And there's the dead end for Eon. She's going to up A. See if she decides to take the first left or go all the way back to the fairy room. My partner here would say she takes the first left. I say she plays the meme. And she is. Once again, very short. It's going to be a very short trip. Very short dead end when she arrives at it, but meanwhile, Jack is exploring more of the palace here.
Jack did pass through a drop room, I believe. Or maybe not. Maybe that's where Eon is.
I think
maybe that was an elevator room.
Yeah, it was the one with the jar at the end that he passed through. All right, Eon is now being forced and funneled in the right direction, but not entirely, because she has the option of not going through the upstairs room and continue exploring beyond that. There's another last of the dead ends there for Jack. He's got to make his way all the way back. He's going to up A. Oh, Eon's going to first time upstairs room this, so Eon actually has the lead right now. giving up on the momentum. Oh, no. Oh, man. Giving up on the momentum and casting jump there.
Both runners in the same room right now.
Now they are. Actually, Jack's a few rooms behind. Yeah. Jack is trying to work his way up now. And I believe Eon took the right path here, the one that's going to lead her to the drop room. And Jack went through the other path the second time around and led to the dead end. So Eon's well on the way here to arriving at Thunderbird first, and then possibly Dark Link just beyond that. We've seen a lot of rooms so far with 0 options of going anywhere else. There's the L7 room. We're going to turn this right around to a waffle room, maybe one room in between. There's the waffle room Jack took the game over in. Eon's beeping right now. No life spell. Did not pick it up into Kasuto. And take the high road.
And here we are, the Eon drop. Jack's gonna walk past it.
Is this the drop room you saw before that he passed
I
up?
don't recall.
Oh, no, look at this. 2 paths to the same room, both of them getting hit by the King Bot. Jack's going down, Eon's going right. They crisscross both in the wrong direction. It looks like you have to go left in this room. And she finds the name that's named after her. What is she going to do? Actually, no, don't have to. We can go down here. Yeah, how's that? How's the Jackimus room right next to the Eon room for a seed?
Yeah, that's pretty legendary.
It's not like I didn't name rooms after 27 people, but, you know, back to back. It's surprising. Jackson is sequence here of drops. Normally this leads in the right direction. Every time you drop, you have to either be able to get to the boss or get back to the start of the palace. And certainly I don't believe there is much left to get to the start of the palace. So taking the drops here is probably going to loop them. Actually, did we see?
It sure did loop them.
Yeah. Forgot about that room. Oh, no. Now she realizes where she is, and she up A's instead of going backwards to the Eon room. So we're going to have to walk this hole again. Jack now takes the lead because he is the first to go down the elevator at start after the up A's.
You also have to remember Eon has not explored that other path that was not the upstab room, and she might be thinking, maybe I had to go that way this whole time.
Right. So like I said about, what was that, 40 minutes ago, it's hard to tell who's in the lead in 40 minutes time, because even though somebody has a 3-gem lead at one point, this is what happens. In Zelda II Randomizer, it makes for fantastic racing. Maybe not if you're in Great Palace for half an hour, but, you know, if you're watching it, sure. Yeah, if Eon went left in the fairy room, Eon's dropping in the Eon drop room. It's just what you do. It's like a Geico commercial here happening. But she finds the dead end and gonna up A again. Oh, almost left. But I think was just still holding left on the controller. So this Great Palace is something.
It's definitely a maze of paths here, as Jack's going to be the first one to take the Eon drop.
It's going to be right into the room that has the jar in it, because that's the only drop there. He gets the 50-50 shot. There are 2 jar chances in that room, by the way. You don't have to be Swedish to know that. And Thunderbird right beyond the Eon. So the Eon drop led to Thunderbird, which is more than likely going to lead to Dark Link, or one room separating Thunderbird and Dark Link. We've exhausted almost all the available rooms and found all the required rooms at this point.
Now, with only 5 hearts and life 5, can Jack take more than 1 hit?
He's got shield cast right now.
That's true. The world may never know.
Yeah, there's Thunderbird down for Jack. Grabs the key. Eon takes the death, and Jack expecting Dark Link in the next room. Let's see what we got. Man, it's Dark Link. We did exhaust all the required rooms, so that was pretty much inevitable. And
what a race.
Yeah, it just... You didn't think it was going to be as close as it was, and then it got very close. Scary close for both players. It's not over yet, though. He still has to beat Dark Link. And how about this for close? Jack is going to... Is he? A couple more hits here. Yeah, Jack is going to finish off Dark Link and win right as Eon encounters the Thunderbird room. So, wow, that was a race and a half there to open up the SHI Tournament Olympics for Zelda II Randomizer.
Yeah, it was definitely a good one. So Eon working on Thunderbird here. We know Dark Link to be in the next room, likely going to finish probably within 1 minute to 2 minutes of Jackimus here. Certain. Good. So yeah, it's definitely a close race, and a win for Special K. Eon, unfortunately, going to return to her country of the Economawak Octoroks empty-handed in Zelda 2 here.
I hear they have fantastic soft cheeses and bratwurst and all that. And soft cheese knives.
So we're gonna pull them in here, see if we can get some opinions.
Chad, do you have any questions that you want to ask these runners? Any decision-making things you want to know of? Do you want to know what their favorite snack food is, salty or chocolatey? Let us know. And there's Eon taking down Dark Link and finishing with a good time. Time of, where's the thing there? 90 minutes and 22 seconds. For something that was upstab required and for something that it took a little while to get to the glove, she pretty much slammed out that second half of the seed. Audio. People may need to restart first. Hello.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, there was an update, so you probably had to put your default mic back on.
I actually just forgot to turn the mic volume back up on my mixer, so...
Oh, well, there you go. Hello. Jack's here as well. Congratulations. It was a great race there. Eon, we'll start with you since you arrived here first. What was going on through your mind in that seat as you were progressing there? Probably in the middle area, I would say, prior to just getting the glove.
I kept thinking if I could just find the glove and the boots, I'd be happy. And when I finally found the hammer, I thought, hey, at least I can get to the raft spot without having to go through Death Mountain. And I found out that wasn't the case.
And Jack's here too. Jack, congratulations. Good game. Early on in that seed, both of you guys found a pass-through cave prior to Death Mountain and all the item caves, and then no one really arrived back at that pass-through cave, which turned out to be Fairy Cave, until like well into the 50-minute mark. What was going on? Why did you guys, Jack, you first, why did you decide to dip Death Mountain and explore through Death Mountain rather than go through the overworld cave?
Well, it wasn't a sure thing that it was going to lead to the other side of the western continent at first. And Death Mountain looked really open with so many caves accessible, but the correct path through just, didn't happen to be in that very large, wide open area. So once I saw a couple of gravestones by themselves on the other side, I figured Fairy Cave would lead over there. So I knew that I'd be trying that in the future if I started over from the beginning.
Yeah, and Eon, did you even see that cave, or did you just were so? Because when you did, both of you guys did Death Mountain early, and both of you explored the opening area and stuff like that. Eon, you got very quickly. You got to Hammer Cave, the Spectacle Rock area, and to the other side. Were you just content with Death Mountain being that quick to go through that you didn't even just use the other caves?
Yeah, at that point I knew it, and I had gone through Parappa Cave, and at that point I didn't even remember where the one was that was Fairy Cave, so I just decided to go with the sure thing. So
yeah, I think we saw that cave in like the 45-second mark. I was still doing audio. I missed it. Nearm saw it, and I was calling him a liar the whole way through because you guys kept going through Death Mountain. It's very exciting when you do go through Death Mountain, though. It's awesome. I love seeing stuff like that. Jack, you ate 4 of your 6 gems, and then you had
they were quite tasty.
Yeah, and then you had a little problem with health there at the end of the seed. Before we talk about Great Palace and why this race was so good to watch, a couple people in chat were wondering why do you eat so many gems? Why don't you just take what you get?
Well, it's saves like 10 seconds or so to cut the gem early. I mean, it adds up if you do enough of them, and I'm pretty comfortable going at lower levels on the Swiss flags. Swiss flags are pretty easy compared to a lot of the stuff we do on the weeklies these days.
Yeah, if eating the 4 total gems here somehow wasted 2 minutes for you, you lose this race. If not eating the gems, I should say, wasted about 4 minutes, you lose this race because of how close it was. All right, now we'll talk about Nearm. Why don't you go ahead and ask your questions?
So I'm gonna stick with Jack here. So you walked through GP there. You exhausted all possible options except for the upstab room, which you just so happened to walk through Darunia. You had the ability to get upstab, but you didn't get it. How much were you kicking yourself in the butt for that one?
I wasn't really kicking myself, honestly. Like, I chose to gamble on upstab not being required because it's very rare that it's needed. It happens. I was maybe a little annoyed that I didn't get it, but, I decided I was going to gamble. So if that situation happened, which obviously ended up happening, I was committed not to be too annoyed by it, but I was definitely worried it was going to cost me the race whenever I saw that, though.
Yeah, it was definitely rough. And for Eon, you dug up the hammer, and then you finally got all the way back to the west, and then you pulled out the item from Spectacle Rock. And how much were you disappointed that wasn't something key?
yeah, I was just really wanting to find boots. I just felt like it would have made the overworld a lot easier to deal with if I could have come across the boots. So that's why I knew it wasn't very far to get to Spectacle Rock inside Death Mountain, so I just decided, well, while I'm on my way going through to the other side, I'll just pick it up to see what it is. So not super disappointed, but not happy either, so...
So the boots wound up being the old lady's item in New Kasuto, and in the one initial, or the big section after the first cave pass-through, maybe the second cave pass-through, there was a pea-bag cave in there. I don't think it's the one you got to, and that had the 7th magic container for you on the way to New Kasuto. So, yeah, it was in New Kasuto, and unfortunately, by the time you got there, Jack had the 7th magic container when he got there. You did not, but I do not think, Jack, you really didn't make use of the boots, did you?
I used them a lot at the very end. Made getting around the Eastern Continent quicker when I had to first backtrack to the Valley of Death because the North Palace was GP, so I had to go back and do 2. And then I had to go back south again to get upstab, and boots definitely cut down on a little bit of travel time there anyway.
Yeah, that's right. You took the raft across and walked north twice. But overall, it was a very good race, Jack. I believe at one point you had a 3-gem lead, although like Eon was placing that, the gem to cut it to a 2-gem lead, like right then and there. And you got into Great Palace, I believe, when she still needed two gems to place, and that upstairs room, man. There was times where you guys were up Aang and trading off the lead in Great Palace. It was like so cool to watch, and fortunately for one of you it worked out. Unfortunately for the other one it did not. But Eon, why don't you go ahead and what are you working on lately? What do you want to plug here for your stream?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just doing a lot of work trying to get my submissions in for SGDQ. So playing a lot of Biomiracle right now. But yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, if the baby game doesn't make GDQ, I riot, by the way. There would be a huge hot take if that doesn't happen.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we have to have a new shout out here for like most memeing memes in like a minute segment. Jackimus room followed by the Eon room. You guys passed through.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
And you guys high-fived at like the entrance of it. Like when it happened, like Eon, you went up and right, and then Jack, you went like through the Eon room into the Jackimus room and then down. Like it was amazing. It was great. But yeah, what are you doing lately, Jack, on your stream?
Mostly just tournament races. I'm in 3 tournaments right now. The good old shit Olympics here, obviously, but then there's Dragon Warrior Randomizer and the Smash TV Easy Tournament. Besides that, like, I might throw on a stream of whatever I feel like playing in the middle of the night or whatever, but it's really mostly tournament stuff right now.
Question from chat: why do you like the Bruins, and are you some kind of jerk?
I like the Bruins because they're the best hockey team, and I don't think I'm a jerk, but opinions may vary.
Yeah, we banned that guy already, and that's pretty much it. Nirm, what else you got for us?
That's about all I can think of. So I guess one more question for both of you. I'll start with Eon. So Palace 1 was obviously right by start. Why did you decide to dig out Palace 1 so early on when there were obviously a lot more caves available?
I don't mind digging into palaces early. I think probably more so than most people. I don't mind that, especially when we've got the extra keys flag turned on. So that's why I figured if I could get a quick gem or a quick item, it would be a good thing. So.
Yeah, that's really what it comes down to. In Swiss flags, you shouldn't be afraid to go into any dungeon ever just because there's an abundance of keys. It's pretty rare for you to be key locked.
Oh, with that said, Jack, you are moving on here, and you're going to go into round number 2, heat number 2. I don't know if we're going to call it heat number 2. Heat number 2 would be the second race in the first round. So we'll just call it round number 2. You're guaranteed to be in a medal race here, win or lose. Win, you go on to the gold medal round, and lose, you could be on to the bronze medal round. How are you thinking you should represent your team? Do you think you want to lose to go for the bronze medal, or are you going to go all for the gold?
Well, I predicted before the tournament that the SPK was going to sweep all golds, all 6 golds, so I think I better win the gold in this event, yeah.
Wow. Unfortunately for you, Eon, the Economach Wok Octorox. I hope you liked my pronunciation of that. Why don't you give us the pronunciation? What's the correct pronunciation?
Akanamawak, I think.
Yeah, Akanamawak.
Yeah.
That's what Google said. But unfortunately, you are out, and there's no more representation for you guys. But you guys are in contention for best flag in the
awesome.
in the tournament. I do like how you use the Mario and the Link, and in the Legend of Zelda crest there with the stars and the font and the blue. It's very nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I think that was all BGT. So.
Oh, I don't like it anymore then. But thank you both for racing and scheduling the race and doing it for us. And best of luck to you guys in whatever you do.
Yeah, thank you so much for the restream and the commentary. Congrats on the win, Jackimus, and good luck on the rest of the Olympics.
Thanks, Eon. Good race. Let's have another sometime soon. Sounds good.
And Nirm, what do you got coming up? Are you doing any more Final Fantasy Tactics speedruns?
So Not much for me. I've got a Zelda II Randomizer and a Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise Randomizer marathon runs for Randomania coming up, so I'll be sticking to those two for the most part. And then Final Fantasy Tactics when I have the time for it.
So the Zelda 2, it's a race, right, for Randomania?
Correct. It's a race with Unos.
Right, so that should be lit. Unos versus my guys. Unos versus Nierm. So thanks very much for joining me tonight.
Yeah, no problem, and thanks for putting it all on there. You do a good job.
Thank you. And by the way, if you want more Nierm Larry action, Nierm versus Angry Larry is tomorrow night in Zelda 2 Randomizer. I believe Hans Buttface and Don Donatello are going to be joining us doing the restream because nobody else was available, but we'll see. So thanks for joining us, everyone, and hope you enjoy the rest of the Olympics when they happen. Stay tuned.
Go Bruins.